And welcome back to 5150 Adventures, where today we're going to get a Quonset hut built so we can tear down the truck. And we already pulled up another truck, and I don't know if you can see it in the background or not, but Steve and I talked with my wife, said we need another truck on the road. We got two trailers sitting. We can get one more truck on the road that's a quick, easy fix to get on the road, and then we can worry about getting another one fixed as soon as we get this one on the road. And she's like, oh, well, you know, if you can do it, do it. So what we did is we pulled up Old Blue. I think we're gonna name this truck Old Timer because it literally is one of the older ones in the fleet. The brown one over there that we got, the wife will not let us put it on the road. That is her baby. That was a truck that her grandpa had, that everybody wants that truck for some reason, but which it is a good truck, it's in good shape, but we're not letting it go, and it's going to be our show truck for her. So this truck, I made sure we kept it when we were scrapping a bunch of things, and right now the only air leak we have is off of this fitting here and one airbag on the very far side over here, and that is right here. Other than that, the front two airbags look good. We're going to replace the rear two. The tires don't look bad. We might try running them for in town for the first week just to see. We're going to pull the exhaust off of another truck over there, put on this truck. So literally the only things wrong is two airbags in the back, electrical that needs replaced from the engine to the battery box, the exhaust. We'll get the headlights and turn signal wiring all redone because somebody had cut that. It's going to be easy stuff. We have all the parts here to do that. The only other thing is the AC condenser is a little toasty, but we'll get that fixed. We're going to drop all the fluids out of everything, replace all the fluids, and then what we're going to do is fire this girl up, clean her out, Scotch-Briter, and just primer. I'm just going to put primer on it right now, that way we can get it going down the road. Inside is a mess. We're going to pull the floor, this old janky carpet out. It is pretty nasty. We might try taking it to the pressure washer clean it, but I doubt it will clean up at all because it's so thick and nasty and stuff. What we may end up doing is we have some leftover flooring from when we did our house, and we'll probably just redo all the floor in that flooring. Aside from that, this is a Jake brake truck. That's what that switch is way up there. That's Jake brakes. Oh, and we got to fix this. That's literally the only things that we know that this truck needs. So stick with us for the next couple of days, minutes, hours, months, whatever it may be. It's actually going to be just a couple weeks while me and Steven get this girl ready to go on the road, while doing an in-frame, while getting my camper ready for camping. So stick with us and let's see what kind of mess we can get ourselves into. All right, so in the last video we had air going to this thing. It's been holding air other than where we had the air leak on this hose right here. So it's still at 120 psi up top. We're going to go look in the shop here in just a minute for the turn signal switch. I've cleaned out a lot of the stuff out of the bottom. It doesn't look as bad as what it was. I think we just might buy some floor mats for it after we vacuum it out really, really good. The other thing is Steven went over to the parts truck, pulled battery cables out, and he's back over here. This is the negative ones. We got the positives ran through. He's tightening them up now. And then I'm going to hand him these negatives here really quick and get them, and then me and him are going to go over to the truck that has the blown rear end out of it, pull two batteries out of it, bring it over here, hook it up to this, find the keys to this thing because somebody stole the keys out of it, but I have a whole bag of keys, so I'm not worried about trying to find them. So we'll go through all the keys, find the right one, get her to turn over, and see what happens. Now, with that being said, if this thing turns over and fires, that gives us the green light to continue working on it. I already called to find out about paint, and everything like that. We can have this thing done in 2 weeks and on the road with single stage paint for under 1,800 bucks. That's what it's sounding like me. Now, that does not include, that does not include registering and insuring the truck. My wife will deal with that. To register these trucks to the state of Colorado is expensive, so we will go from there. But before we go putting everything back onto the truck, we may as well get it ready to paint, because as you can see, they've sanded it down all over the place already. So we'll just Scotch-Brite over everything they've done, other than this area that's really rough here. We'll sand that down and get it ready the proper way, but we'll Scotch-Brite everything, scuff it, shoot it, and get it ready. Steven, what do you think about this truck here, bud?
I freaking love this truck. I'm gonna be driving it. You watch.
Now we just got to get him to get his CDL permit so that we can get him driving. So, man, it's just coming together. So, continue on sticking with us while we get some more things done on this thing. All right, well, I'm gonna send Steven under here to jump one thing, and I'm gonna operate the throttle, and we're gonna see if this thing will start. Shoot it. Come on, baby, come on. All right, hold it. Hold it. I'm going to pump the primer here, see if we can get some fuel sucked up to it and see what happens. I've already pumped it a little bit. We'll see what goes on. Got to get the air out of the system all the way, but as you can hear in the background, we got all the air out of the system. She's running off a 5-gallon bucket at the back of the truck. Took a minute to get her primed, but she's running. Hey, Steven, do that like what I just did, throttle. I want to see how much smoke comes out. I just want to see how dirty it is in there. Not bad. We do have one little problem with the exhaust, but we'll get that done. But as for right now, she is running. Now we're going to get started on the Inframe, getting that one started. I needed to have this one running so that we could justify what we were going to do with it by the end of the week. So now we know we're getting fuel tanks on this one, getting it ready to roll. The faster we get it ready to rip, the better off we are. So we are gonna get started on the Inframe now, as soon as we get the Kwanzaa hut done. Sorry, Steve, it's taking so long. I'm just trying to do too many things at one time anymore. So, but we're gonna start getting that one ready. Alrighty, well, we got rained out yesterday. As you can see, the ground is wet everywhere. We got 3/4 of the way done with this. The freaking tarp blew off. It's over there somewhere. The wind really screwed us up a little bit. We didn't even have it fastened. It just kind of fell. So it was just on there. But we're getting started on this today before the rain hits. That is actually priority. Get everything tore off that. I got some things off of it, but I still have it to where I can drive it a little bit. So once Steven gets here, me and him are going to knock this out, get the tarp back on it and fastened this time, and then get that truck inside this what's to be awesome workshop and get going on her so that me and him can get that engine done, because as of yesterday afternoon I have another one as soon as I get that one done. I'm going to be doing most of the work on the in-frame stuff. While I'm doing that, I'm going to have him working on this, getting stickers off, getting the stacks off, getting the everything wiped down so that we can get ready to paint, getting the fuel tanks off so I can clean them out. I'm going to go me and James are going to get a fuel tank built for that side out of spare tanks we got in the back here. Then we're going to have him Scotch Brite the whole frame, and then we're going to paint the truck and the frame. But that's, like I said, that's not main priority right now. Main priority is getting this done so that I can get that done so that Steven can be happy. My parts for that are on the way, so I kind of want to get it tore down to a certain point so that when they get here, all I need to do is drop my liners in, drop pistons in, and get going. The nice thing about Caterpillars is they're pretty easy to do. Their cylinder packs normally are fairly easy. So I do take them apart when I get them so that I can make sure that my piston rings are lined out the way they're supposed to, because I have had some in the past where the piston rings have been lined up and caused blow-by. So stick with me today while we try to beat the rain that is supposed to be on its way so we can get this thing started here. All right, so me and Steve have been working hard this morning. What do you think?
I think it's about time we had a break, or the clock got a raise.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Anyways, with some redneck ingenuity and everything like that, we've got most of the Quonset hut completed. We got some finishing little things we got to worry about, but once we get plywood down over here and down over here, that should give us enough sealed area for us to be able to work without being in the dust and the dirt and everything. And then we have plenty draped over here for a reason. The reason why we have it like that is so that once we pull the truck in, we're gonna fold this back up on top of here, pull the truck into where the stacks barely start touching right there. Then we'll flop it back down in between the stacks and the cab all the way down to the ground, and then just have to block off underneath the truck. So before the wind picks up and me and Steven get friggin' screwed royally, we're gonna hurry up and get some plywood on this bottom over here and show you guys what it's gonna be like when we're done. Well, think like a Smurf, because we're blue, baby. We have shelter. Steven's getting the last little bit of plywood that we have here so that we're gonna stretch this down, put a piece of plywood here with the tarp behind it, and then we're gonna take this one off, take the plywood out, bring the tarp down, and then attach the plywood, and then we're gonna tighten it all up across this way and across this way, and then we will put plywood down the side here. But while he's doing that and going to get more screws, I'm gonna start taking accessories off of this so that we can start working on this thing. Now it is gonna be as sealed as we can get it. Once we start getting the engine cracked open, I will bring this down really tight across here, and then I will block off underneath behind the cab with some more tarps. That way it's kind of airtight. When we get the plywood all down on the sides, it'll be from here down to the ground, so we won't have to worry about wind blowing up underneath it and everything like that. It is very sturdy. It hardly, as you can see, like I'm shaking out of it, it's barely moving. So with that being said, temporary building might be a permanent building, who knows, but it is time to start on Steven's Inframe. There's some things I got to do before parts get here. So I'm gonna get started on that. I do have this set up so I can lift this side up, bring the crane over, lift his head up, put it out of the way, and put the new head on, or whatever may be the case. So for right now, without any further ado, we're gonna get started. Alrighty, so I've started getting everything apart here. I got the exhaust here. I got this loose here. I'm getting ready to do the underside of the turbo drain. I've got the inlet loose here and here. Steven's on his way to go get a couple tables so I can start organizing stuff on tables over here and over here. And then I'm just gonna continue pushing as far as I can today on this thing. All right, so I've got charge pipes off. I've got some lines off here. I'm gonna start getting some more off. One thing about tearing one of these apart is organization. So I've got two long tables, one here and one there. But as I take things apart, I organize them how they came off. This side's driver's side, this side's passenger side. And as they put them back together, I reverse the order. I'll start from over here and work my way this way. So one thing I'm going to do now is start getting all these excess hoses. The only ones I'm not going to take crack open are the AC ones, and anything that I really don't see necessary to open. I really only have to get the head off from the deck right here up off, and then drain the oil and get from the oil pan line down off. One thing I am going to do so this engine stays sealed is, even though I'm dropping the oil pan and I get things off and out, once I'm done, I'm going to put the oil pan back on, and I'm going to take masking tape and masking tape off the top so no moisture nor dust can get in there while we're waiting for parts to come in, if we get that far today. So I'm going to continue going. Stick with us and we'll see you here in a minute. Alright, so what you've seen in that hyperlapse is I'm getting all the looms loose for all this wire that comes all the way over to here. Then, once I get that done, then I'll come over and I'll snip all these zip ties to go across here. Then I will brace up the hood, get this cross piece over here off, and then we'll start getting turbo, exhaust manifold, thermostat housing off so that we can have access to everything over here. Then I'll come back to the other side, on this side here, and I'll get the air compressor off, and then all these fuel injection lines off so that I can get ready to start taking the intake manifold and the head off. It is a long process. There's a lot of things to go through and take off and know what is what, but when you've done it as many times as I have, as well as other mechanics, it's second nature. You just start knowing where everything goes. So I'm going to put you back on a time lapse and continue on. So I've got everything loose all the way up to, other than this one right here, obviously, But I've got everything pretty well unhooked. Next is going to be the alternator. One thing I got to remember is where they go. So the one that's for the battery is going to have all this electrical tape on it, and the one that's the ground does not. It has heat shrink. So one thing I like doing with these videos is I can reference what I put where or what is where. That way if I have any questions myself, I can go back and look at that. So once I get that power piece undone, I'm going to get the harness out the other side done, and then I got to reach up and get one hose undone in the front. One major thing that I need to let you guys know that is done, for one. Two, you should always do when you're working around any electrical on any automotive, commercial, anything. You start taking stuff apart, always undo all your grounds. That way, or positives, whatever you prefer. Some guys say your positives are better. Some guys say that your negatives are better. I always thought just undo the negative. It gets rid of the ground to everything, and you don't have to worry about it. The reason why I say that is like I showed you, we got to take the back of the alternator wiring apart. This one is a hot, so that's the last thing you want to be doing is pulling it all through all this metal and arcing everything and taking a chance of causing a fire, for one, or two, blowing a battery up because it's grounding out. Alright, so I got all my electrical stuff undone other than this one right here, which is it's kind of tight right here, so I'm gonna wait till I get this bracket off so I can get to it. So what we're getting ready to do is drain coolant, drain engine oil, so that we can start taking thermostat housing off, so I can get the turbo off and the exhaust manifold. I'm just gonna try doing the exhaust manifold and turbo as one. I like doing that, just means less components you have to look for parts for. Then we'll come over here once the coolant's drained, and we'll get the AC compressor off so we can get some fuel lines off. So stick with me and Steven as we start getting as far as we can on this. Alright, so we got the front stabled up with this for right now. That way when we undo that one crossbar right there, we don't have to worry about the hood falling flat forward. So our next objective is start getting those pieces off for the radiator support stuff for two reasons. One, the support bracket is in the way. Number two, that radiator is going out of here. It's going bye-bye. And the other thing we got going on over here is Steven's over here. He hopped on and he was like, oh, what can I do? I was like, well, we can get that heavy air compressor out of there. And he's like, all right, well, I'll start getting her done. So he's over here working on that now that we got all the coolant drained and all the oil drained and everything like that. So we're going to start getting all the outer accessories off and everything ready, so that the minute the Inframe kit gets here, it's pop everything out, clean everything up, inspect everything, pop everything back in, and go back together with her. We did see some oil and water mixture, so I'm really worried about the head. I'm pretty sure it's cracked. He did say that they did try putting stop leak in the radiator. Not him, but the people that owned it before him. So I'm really concerned about the head at this point. Or liners. It could have cracked either. I've had that situation happen before. So we're going to get the head off, inspect that, and then we'll tape off the top deck so that nothing can get in there. Then get a head ordered. It's a day to build the head and then 2 days to ship the head. So we're looking about Tuesday for the head to be here. The Inframe kit should be here tomorrow. So once we get that, then we'll tear it down into it even further. So right now we're just going to continue pushing on this thing so we can get as far as we can while there's daylight left. So I'm going to put you on the time lapse so that you can watch what we're doing here. Alright, so the camera died during a time lapse. Didn't realize that. My bad for not keeping up with that. But either way, we got the turbo off, thermostat housing off. We've got all the wiring peeled back. This one hose here is loose off of one end, but this is to the fan clutch, so I'm not too uber worried about it at the very moment. The next thing that has been done, everything's been organized. How it came off of here, and this side is slowly coming together on how it's come apart here. Steven is working on taking the injection lines off of this side now that we have the air compressor off of here, so as that we could start getting ready to be able to pull the cylinder head off tomorrow morning. Our goal is to get to a good stopping point tonight, to where as soon as we get here tomorrow, it's literally valve covers, all the valve train, jakes, everything, pull all that off, wrap it up in rags so that it doesn't get any dust in it, and then pull the head off. And then when that part comes, we're gonna have to figure something out how to get it off of here. Not a big deal, it's not the end of the world. I think I got a plan for that. You guys have seen what I've been able to borrow in the past, so I'm not gonna be able to use that again. Other than that, we're pretty well to a good closing point for this evening. There's a couple things I'm gonna do with this engine that is gonna surprise the owner. Not gonna say much right now on it, but there's some little twerks that is gonna make this engine stand out little more than everybody else's, I think. So me and Steven are gonna get after it here and continue on until we run out of daylight or time or whatever comes first. All right, so Steven and I have gotten to a good stopping point for the day. There's some other things we got to go take care of and look at and do, but as of right now, where we're at is everything that could be pulled off the motor that needs pulled off for us to be able to pull the head off has been taken off. With that, we're going to, I've already covered up the injection ports on here so that nothing can get down in there. We're going to cover up all openings over for the intake side, and then we're going to come over to the other side here and probably stick some rags in the exhaust ports. That way we know that nothing else can get in there. That way when I pull the head off, I can actually just see what the head looks like without having any valves open to push anything in there. Like I said, I'm not opening the top until I have a good opportunity to have everything laid out and organized properly, for one, and so that I could go through and wrap everything up so that it doesn't get any contamination in it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is just a little glimpse into our world as owner operators. So there's a lot to knowing, some people don't have the knowledge for this, so I hope that I can pass this knowledge on to somebody or help somebody, especially on these older engines. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions, please comment, like, subscribe, share, and do me one big favor. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that bell. That helps me be able to see if my content's doing good, bad, or indifferent. So we'll start another video tomorrow. You guys have a good day, good evening, and we will see you later.